and it's a crucial race for series leader Philip McAllen.
Yeah, it's like you've got to work it all out careful. Like winning a championship's a bit different than just winning a race. You know, you can go all out, try to win a race, crash or lose. You know, but you just can't afford to lose any points at this stage. To drop, like say Mike has had a couple of offs, non-finishes. I've had a couple as well. So we can't really afford to drop any more points, or for instance 3rd and 4th place will start moving in on us. So it's going to go the whole way, and everyone will be trying. So I think it's more important to get the points today than to win, but it's also you've got to try.
On pole position for the 23-lap race, Mike Edwards, former of the series until McAllen after the last round at Cadwell Park. Alongside him on the front row of the grid, it's Paul Brown aboard the Yamaha, the bike that's fast coming into form. Mick Corrigan gave the Yamaha its win at Cadwell Park. Very wet it was, a far cry from the conditions at Mallory. On the second row, it's Philip McAllen, the series leader by 5 points. The warm-up lap over, the race about to begin. They creep forward towards the line, the lights go green, and they charge down towards Gerard's corner for the first time. It looked like a good start from Philip McAllen from the second row, a good start too from Mick Corrigan, and Corrigan it is that leads. In second place, it's Paul Brown. Slotting into 3rd spot is John Crawford, also starting the race from the second row of the grid. The Scotsman having a flying start. He's in 3rd spot at the moment. McAllen in 4th position. A great start, though, for Mick Corrigan, who's out to prove that that Cadwell win was no fluke. Out to prove that that Cadwell win was no fluke. Oh, and through on the inside goes John Crawford. Crawford just holding off the brakes for that crucial split second as they go into the S's for the first time, climb up towards the hairpin. Race leader Crawford sliding under braking. Oh, and a coming together there for Philip McAllen and Mike Edwards, the two rivals for the championship, and also tangled up there number 4, Pete Jennings. Mike Edwards not very happy at being held by the marshals there, but I'm sure safety was their primary consideration. Philip McAllen shut the door on him as he tried to come up the inside, but I think that was just a racing accident. Into Gerard's then for the second time, and it's Crawford leading. And Crawford's opened up an advantage at the front over Paul Brown. Corrigan in 3rd place. Philip McAllen slotting in 4th position. Down the Stebby straight. Shake of the head there from the Kawasaki of John Crawford. Up the inside under the brakes, tries to go Paul Brown, but this time Crawford shuts him out. Crawford flicks it left, climbing up towards that hairpin. Oh, and just look at the bike snaking under braking there. The brakes hard on. Philip McAllen tries to go around the outside to gain that 3rd place, but Corrigan had the right line and shut him out. So it's still Corrigan in 3rd, McAllen in 4th. Crossing the start and finish line one more time, it's still Crawford. The Scots lad leading. Kawasaki leads Yamaha. Yamaha in 3rd place and Honda in 4th position. And it's great to see 3 different makes of machinery represented at the front of this field. It's still Crawford leading for Kawasaki. Back leading the second group is 87 Gary Weston, but there's a breakaway group of 4 led by John Crawford. Crawford into the hairpin again, he runs a bit wide. Does that allow Brown to go up the inside? And round the outside into 3rd place goes McAllen. So the Ulsterman up into 3rd place. There's now 3 different makes of machine in the top 3. And McAllen, that distinctive high elbow style. And he's got a little bit of ground to make up if he's to catch Paul Brown and try and mount an attack for the lead. But McAllen knows he needs solid points here at Mallory Park. He likes the circuit, the bike's well set up, but he could do with a win to extend that slender 5-point lead. As up the inside goes Paul Brown, and he outbrakes Crawford into the S's. The new race leader is Brown. Brown leads, Crawford in 2nd place, but he's fighting back as they charge up towards the hairpin. He takes the wide line, trying to come out tight, but that will not give him the best line into the bus stop chicane. So it's Brown that leads, Crawford 2nd, McAllen in 3rd place. In 4th spot, it's Corrigan. Dave Martin in 5th position on the number 8 bike. Tucked in down the start and finish straight that leads to that massive, long, looping, right-handed hairpin called Gerard's, one of the most famous corners in motorcycle racing. And again looks as determined as ever. But it's Crawford now that's mounting an attack. Can Crawford go up the inside? Not this time. Brown shuts him out, breaks that fraction later. It's the S's where most of the action takes place as far as overtaking is concerned. Just look at that. Paul Brown drifting into the hairpin, all the way down into first gear, flicking it right, accelerating hard into the bus stop. Flicking it left, right, left again, down the hill, through the left-hander at Devil's Elbow, along the straight, and right-handed again into Gerrard's. Around about 140 miles an hour on these motorcycles as they go in. Accelerating hard all the way around, just drifting it on the tyres. Just original fitment. Road tyres allowed now on these Thunder bikes. McAllen into the S's. McAllen just making up a little bit of ground on Crawford. Brown pulling away a couple of bike lengths. McAllen still holding on to that third spot, but well poised. He'll be trying to work out exactly when to make his move. As long as he's in contention and in touch in the closing stages of the race, he'll be happy. Towards Gerrard's one more time, and it's still Brown from Crawford. A chance to look at the contrasting styles of Philip McAllen and Mick Corrigan. Corrigan much more upright, McAllen hunched over the front of the machine, elbows out in that distinctive style. You'd recognise his riding style anywhere as they go into the S's for one more time. And a mistake there from Corrigan's cost him a little bit of ground. Again, sliding those tyres into the hairpin. And McAllen's looking very poised and in control at the moment, allowing the front runners to do all the hard work. Brown from Crawford. Crawford, the 27-year-old Scot, has come into contention in this title chase in the last few rounds. Didn't have a good start to the series, but he's certainly got that Kawasaki sorted out now. Early race leader Crawford now coming under pressure from McAllen on the Honda. Paul Brown a little bit clear. Maybe pulled out 10 bike lengths now. Give himself a bit more of a cushion, but one mistake and that could all disappear so very, very quickly. But it's Brown at the moment from Crawford, McAllen third, Corrigan clinging on in fourth place. And just moving up to the rear of that group is Dave Martin. Martin, the man from Louth. And extending that lead now is Paul Brown, the Humberside rider on the Sanyo Yamaha. This mid-stage of the race, absolutely crucial to keep your concentration, to stay in contention and conserve a little bit of energy for the final charge in the closing stages. Brown just braking hard every time for the S's. He knows he can't afford to make a mistake there. Leaves it just as late as he possibly can. As up the inside goes Philip McAllen to take second place. Crawford is forced wide, and McAllen goes through to pick off one more position. He's now in second place, and he's got to catch Paul Brown, so he'll have to up his pace slightly. Brown still leading, McAllen now in second place. Crawford and Corrigan disputing that third spot. But McAllen saw his opportunity, seized his chance, nipped through on the inside as Crawford went a fraction wide. And McAllen now head right down, concentrating hard on the rear wheel of that Yamaha in front of him. Yamaha lead, Honda second, Kawasaki in third place. The Yamaha of Mick Corrigan, the winner at Cantwell Park, in fourth position. And just look at the rear wheel step out there as Brown hauled on the anchors. He then accelerated hard up towards the bus stop chicane. The front wheel came up slightly. It's first gear, so you have to control it very, very carefully. McAllen taking a long look over his shoulder to check on the opposition. He's got a bit of an advantage. got to concentrate on catching Brown. McAllen, you can just see the determination in the way that he rides that motorcycle. And he moves up the inside, but Brown is just that bit too far ahead for that move to be successful. Just showing him that he's there, though, telling him that he can't relax. Brown from McAllen. And this one shows every sign of going right down to the wire. Brown, McAllen, Crawford, Corrigan, and Martin. That's the top 5. McAllen just concentrating on reeling in Paul Brown so that he can be in a position to make a move. Around Gerrard's one more time, just allowing maximum feel in those tyres, keeping the throttle accurately poised. All about throttle control around there. Brown and McAllen obviously got it absolutely right, so too as Crawford. Crawford in a good position, he's coming back to the leaders. Oh, and a massive slide there from the rear wheel of Paul Brown as it went light under the heavy braking for the hairpin. Brown leads McAllen, but not by very much. McAllen will be seen as the threat, there's no doubt about that. Brown looking nervously around behind him. And McAllen right on the rear wheel of the race leader now. Philip McAllen, the Ulsterman, 4 times a winner at the TT races on the Isle of Man this year. And he is winding up the wick. McAllen moves up on the inside. Is he making a move here? Not quite close enough this time around. But enough to make Paul Brown extremely nervous, I'll be bound. Brown leads. Into the hairpin again. Yet again, the rear wheel going light under the braking. Through the chicane. Martin doing well to cling on to the rear wheel of the 4th place man, Nick Corrigan. Brown, McAllen, Crawford, Corrigan and Martin. Around Gerrard's again. Must be the fastest hairpin in the world and the longest. McAllen wringing every mile per hour out of that Motorcycle City Honda. These Thunderbikes, remember, 600 cc's. But an awful lot of horsepower churned out at the back wheel. And again, Brown sneaks a look over his right shoulder in between the hairpin and the chicane. Oh, and a twitch there from McAllen. Just wound the power on, just that fraction early. The rear tyre protested by stepping out a few inches. Brown from McAllen, and Crawford coming back into it now. Crawford preparing to mount an attack on McAllen to retake that 2nd place. Obviously gathered himself for that attack as McAllen just shows the front wheel to Brown one more time. He's got to be careful while he's concentrating on dicing with Brown. Crawford is right there behind him into the hairpin. Still Brown from McAllen, but Crawford looking increasingly threatening in 3rd place. They've pulled away a little bit from Mick Corrigan in 4th place and Dave Martin in 5th. And a good drive out of that corner for John Crawford. But still, McAllen manages to hold him off at the moment. Kawasaki man at the rear of this group. McAllen wants to be careful not to get too entangled in a dice with Crawford, because that could give Paul Brown the chance to break away. On up the inside goes Crawford. A superb manoeuvre from him. Absolutely classic move at the Mallory Park S's, and up into 2nd place has gone the Scotsman. Brown leads. McAllen tries to go up the inside there, but there was no way that he was going to make it that time. Brown, Crawford and McAllen, the 1, 2, 3. Still Corrigan and Martin, 4th and 5th. And now Crawford has got through. He's put some clear ground between himself and Phil McAllen. McAllen's far too experienced a hand to panic now, though. Knows he just has to peg him steadily back. He'll still be in with a good chance of taking the lead in the closing stages of the race. Just be there, that's the secret. Be there in a position to mount an attack when it's absolutely crucial in the last few laps. And Brown has failed to break completely away from this group. Got a little bit of clear ground, but not very much. Dice is going on all the way down the field. Oh, and just too hot into the hairpin then goes Gary Weston, and Andy Tinsley is unable to avoid him. Some terrific avoiding action from some of the following riders. But yet another incident at the notorious Mallory Park hairpin. Meanwhile, it's still Brown in the lead, Crawford in second place, McAllen in third spot. And it's as close as that. You saw it from our curb cam there. Brown, Crawford and McAllen. It could still be any one of these three riders that take the 25 championship points on offer to the winner. And once again, the hairpin scene of some hectic manoeuvring. It's still Brown, Crawford and McAllen, but they're now in a class of their own as they head through the bus stop chicane, and Andy Tinsley relegated to the role of spectator there, standing on the bank at the hairpin, following that incident with Gary Weston. Into Gerrards again, still Brown, Crawford and McAllen. McAllen on the gas around Gerrards. Oh, and the front wheel goes away and McAllen is out of it. Oh, the bike sent spectacularly cartwheeling through the air. McAllen sent spinning through the gravel trap. And that's the end of the race for Phil McAllen. And is that the end of his championship hopes? Meanwhile, the race goes on. It's Brown from Crawford. Crawford's not sure what's happened, but he knows that McAllen has disappeared. So it's now a two-man fight at the front of the field. Brown still leads, Crawford in second place as we take a look at that again. McAllen into Gerrards, seemingly doing nothing different, but suddenly the front wheel slides away. The sparks are sent flying from that Motorcycle City Honda, which as soon as it hits the gravel trap is catapulted into the air, and Philip McAllen out of the race. The two-man battle then remains at the front, Brown and Crawford. A straight fight as McAllen is helped to the side of the track, obviously badly winded by that spectacular fall at the Gerrards corner. Brown sneaking a peek at his opponent and rival for the championship points. 25 points to the winner, 20 to the second place man. McAllen receiving immediate attention at the trackside. 14 is Andy Pallett in fifth position. In sixth place, it's Dave Heel. And if it stays like this, Dave Heel would regain the lead in the championship. So everything to play for with the downfield positions. They're way down behind the leaders, but it's still absolutely crucial as they battle for those all-important points. Pallett having a very good ride here at Mallory Park. Stuart Wickens is 27, ahead of Steve Plater, number 6. And retiring from the race into the paddock and out of contention is number 4, Pete Jennings, and he was the man involved in that incident at the hairpin on the opening lap with Mike Edwards. Meanwhile, still the battle for 5th and 6th place raging on. Oh, and upper place goes number 6, Steve Plater. Plater then up into 7th position. But Paul Brown looks like he's heading towards victory. Paul Brown leading the race and on his final lap now. It'll be a superb first win of the year for Brown and a second win in a row for Yamaha. A great little wheelie there as he headed towards the chicane, a wave to the crowd. He's waving his foot at some other sections of the crowd, and he is absolutely delighted as he takes the checkered flag to win the 8th round of the Thunderbike Championship. Brown a second and a half ahead of Crawford at the flag from Corrigan, Martin, Andy Pallett and Dave Heel. And Heel's equal on points with Crawford at the top of the championship table. Brown, a delighted man.
Yeah, I saw Spike go out first 2 laps and I thought, you know, time to pull some points back. I got a +1, then +0 and kept my head down and I got +2 in the end, so it worked out good.
So 90 points each for Dave Heel and John Crawford at the top of the championship table. Paul Brown coming into contention on 87, and just 2 points back is Phil McAllen. Everything to play for in the last couple of rounds of the championship. We asked Phil McAllen exactly what went wrong in that incident at Gerrard's.
Just lost the front. It seemed like, well, for no reason, obviously just going in too fast, too deep. You know, I think I could make a lot of ground back on the boys each time into that, and maybe I was getting too confident with it, and just lost the front end. Everything was going good, you know, I felt I was riding good, the bike was good, and there was no apparent problem at all, except it slid off. But we're not going to give up yet, like, you know.
Well, that's it from Mallory Park, where this great crowd has seen some terrific motorcycle racing action.